Welcome to this morning's business briefs. We'll just get started here in 1 minute. All right, we're gonna, in the interest of time, get started here. Good morning and welcome to this morning's Quad Cities Chamber Business Brief, Making the EOS System Work for Your Business. I'm Kristen Glass. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer here at the Quad Cities Chamber and happy to be our host for this event. The Quad Cities Chamber Business Briefs are short, free to attend programs designed to connect you to the latest guidance and resources to help your business thrive. We're lucky that this morning's business brief is on EOS, and I am happy to introduce you this morning to our friend Rob Taylor. But first, want to share why it is important for me to be here and give this introduction. The Quad Cities Chamber has been using EOS as our operating system for about 3 years now. And I am very passionate. Anyone that's ever talked to me about EOS knows I'm very passionate about EOS. It has completely transformed the Quad Cities Chamber, and it has given us focus that we've never had before. So if anyone on our team were to give you an overview of the chamber, they all have very clear vision and roles within the chamber, and it helps be our filter. So anything that comes our way, we use our EOS filter to determine, is this the right fit for our organization? It also has transformed our organization in our financial status. When we began our EOS journey, we had 18 days cash on hand, and we have about a year ago achieved our financial goals and continue to grow our organization so that we can serve you, our members. So I can't say enough about EOS. I will say I was skeptical when we began on this journey. Everyone always is, and I would not change it for anything. And it's been great for us. So I'm excited for you to hear from Rob today a little bit more about EOS and how it can help your business. You can always look for business briefs on our website and in e-news. The content will always be available for you to refer to. Again, it is recorded. If you have any questions today, please place them in the Q&A box, and we will try to get to as many of them as we can. Let's get started. I want to introduce you to Rob Taylor of Taylor Management Systems. Rob is a professional EMS implementer of the Entrepreneurial Operating System we call EOS. Rob joined Taylor Management Systems as a partner in 2014, and after 21 plus years in electronic component manufacturing and marketing, he received his BS degree from Iowa State in industrial technology. In addition to becoming well-versed in organizational development, he's also gained considerable expertise in many areas of the EOS system. As I mentioned, the Quad Cities Chamber uses this as our operating system, and really want to give a warm welcome to our friend Rob and encourage you to take it all in, ask questions in the chat box along the way. So Rob, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Kristen. Pleasure to be here. Let me pull up my presentation. Excited to do this with all of you, share this information. And Kristen, I'm looking at you, just nod. You can see my presentation, right? Awesome. We are good to go, good for launch. So again, thank you, everyone. We're talking about EOS, this Entrepreneurial Operating System. And we are, let me make my notes here clear so I can see. Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to have 4 takeaways to help you all understand what's coming from this. We're going to explain what is EOS, this Entrepreneurial Operating System, and also the EOS model. We're going to share one EOS tool, something you can use immediately. We like to really provide value right out of the chute with EOS to help you really start getting traction immediately. We're going to share examples of how EOS has helped other organizations, because I know sometimes, like Kristen was sharing, the best way to understand EOS is to hear how it has helped other organizations and how it's helped them grow. And we're going to provide you an assessment, something you, your leadership team can use right away to get a feel for how strong are you in the 6 key components of EOS, and where do we have weaknesses and where do we need to fill gaps. So let's take it away. Introductions. We're going to talk about introductions. This is our agenda. We're going to talk about the EOS roots, the EOS model, the tools, examples, and then have question and answers about the last 5 minutes here. So About me, my story. I grew up in Iowa, southeastern Iowa, in an entrepreneurial ag family, watching my parents sell anhydrous ammonia, sell fertilizer and chemicals, working those long hours. And so I grew up with that, not just a hardworking ethic, but the business entrepreneurial spirit in my family. Yes, my parents worked together for many years. No one killed each other. They had their moments, but that's part of that business family situation. Fast forward after college, helped an entrepreneur who was an electrical component entrepreneur, founder of a company from California, relocate to Iowa, transition into manufacturing in Iowa. And that's really where I cut my teeth, those 22 years of helping walking alongside a visionary become what he wanted. That ended up in doubling the number of locations, quadrupling the number of employees, and really became one of the most profitable, dominant manufacturers in our industry. Why that's relevant, not only that I've walked through fire with an entrepreneur, a founder, and owner, but I've also been a part of helping us create our own homemade organic system. How do we grow the business? How do we work on the business? And that was really before EOS. And part of the message here is I wish in some ways EOS would have existed then, because I think we could have gotten to where we wanted to get to as a company faster and better. So since then, going on my own, stepping away, really to be my own business owner and help other business owners grow their businesses, being that trainer, facilitator, coach, the different words there of helping over 70 companies with leadership development where needed, processes, and growing their business. And now with EOS, helping companies really get traction, get a grip on the business. So part of my story in that transition is I had a client, great employees, great plans, but they struggled to execute. And we talk about this struggling to get traction of how to execute and move things forward. And as Kristen said, it was really a lot about focus. Some of it was also about the ownership in a partnership not being aligned with plans. So it's about getting them on the same page. Yes, as with multiple owners, sometimes you can have trust issues, even with just one owner and multiple employees. It happens. And as a result, with not being focused, not being aligned, struggling with trust, they did struggle to keep good employees, the people they needed for future growth. We were trying a variety of things with organizational development, strategic planning. At some point, I thought, let's try something different. I knew Gino from the past when he presented in Iowa back in 2009. Gino Wickman, the creator of EOS, the author of the book Traction. We started trying it, and I started seeing things happen. They created a leadership team they needed. They got alignment on the vision, but also how to structure and get the right people in the right seats. And slowly but surely, they started to achieve their goals every quarter and every year. Yes, they weren't perfect, but they were moving the needle. They were moving forward, chipping away at things. And now I'm proud to say that in the area they're at, the region, they're one of the leading firms in their industry. And it's just been neat to see them come to where they are. Talking about EOS, the background, I mentioned Gino Wickman and the roots. In the beginning, Gino started off as an entrepreneur at age 21. He became a member of his family business to help do a turnaround. This is in Detroit. Gino started partnering with other business owners, seeing what worked, what didn't work, and he created this EOS system based on what he was seeing others use. Gino did not go to college. He learned this just by getting in, rolling up his sleeves, and making things happen. And that's the power of EOS. It's simple. It's a proven process. There are currently, which I'll talk about later, over probably close to 11,000 companies now running on EOS. So this is not just some new fad. This has been around since 2005. It's grown throughout the nation and the world. I know of implementers in Australia and all around the world. It's simple. It has practical tools that help you really implement a system, and it works. It gives you three things. It gives you traction, vision, traction, healthy. Vision in that you're 100% on the same page with where you're going and the plan to get you there. Traction in that you're accountable and disciplined in achieving that vision. And healthy in that you're a cohesive, functional team that likes to actually work together. We start the leadership team, we get the vision, traction, healthy leadership team, and then we push it down throughout the company. So you see the vision being carried out with accountability and discipline, getting traction, execution everywhere in the company with healthy teams that actually like to work together. The target market for EOS, from my perspective as an implementer, I tend to focus on companies 10 to 20 employees on up to 250. I've got some with maybe 9 employees. I've got some with 400. But the sweet spot for me is that 20 to 250. That's the companies that have the critical mass, the investment in EOS, the return on investment. It is worldwide, as I mentioned, close to 11,000 now companies running on EOS, and it works. The stories you're going to hear are just the things that have happened are fantastic. But backing up here to the model, we start with the pain parts of EOS, or what drives a need for EOS. Companies having frustrations, people not being focused, not aligned, not fitting the culture, trust issues, productivity issues, whatever that is. That's a major frustration in almost every company. Of course, right now, everyone, probably many of you, all of you probably are struggling to get the people you need. That's across the board. I mean, we saw what the governor did yesterday to help make that happen. I think it was very timely from my perspective. But the other frustration of just lack of control as a business owner, the business leader, is the business running you, or are you running the business? And there are times that this becomes a monster. You feel like you got it by the tail and you're just trying to hang on. How do you control the business? The frustration of not being able to and having a lack of control, lack of profit, and to be clear, saying not having enough money, not getting to the bottom line, working long days for not a lot of gain, personally and for the business, from a margin or net income perspective. So what can we do to increase that, address that frustration? And then hitting the ceiling. Companies working hard, but they just can't seem to get through a certain level as far as revenue, a certain level of number of service clients they provide to, or number of products being offered, just can't seem to grow. Some companies want to, maybe they just keep pace with inflation, but how do you start seeing significant growth, maybe 20% or more each year? With EOS, by the way, on average, companies grow, depending on who you talk to and where they're at, we've seen as on average of 18% a year in growth of companies that are running on EOS. The last frustration with companies, nothing seems to be working. We've all experienced, ourselves maybe included, where we go to a session, we come to a webinar like this, and we see this new whiz bang idea. We start pursuing a new program. Frustrations that those things aren't working, even when you're trying lots of things. And these are the 5 frustrations that with EOS we're working to address. As you think about this discussion, I want you to, this is a rhetorical question. The first thing I want you to think about is, what is your number one goal with your business? As an owner, as a leader in the company, a decision maker, ultimately, what are you wanting to achieve? What is your long-range plan or your long-range goal? What do you want from your company? What are your dreams? What are your passions? Of course, you got to be aligned on that as a company with different leaders and different owners, maybe, but that's a key part. What are you working toward? In that mind, in achieving that, what are the challenges in the way? What are the issues, the barriers, the speed bumps, if you will, that are getting in the way of you getting to what you want? What wakes you up in the early morning hours sweating of, hey, we're not there yet, we're struggling? What are the things that are strengths for you that help you achieve that? And when you think about meetings, and these 3 questions on a scale of 1 to 10, we hate meetings, but we have to have meetings to have communication, decision-making, problem solving. But how effective are those throughout your company? Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being they're amazing, they're great, they're very productive. When you have a plan, do you have a plan? And how aligned is everyone in your company around that plan? Because when you get everybody working in the same direction, focused on the same vision, the same goals, you can do amazing things if you have alignment. And accountability. Who owns what? Who's responsible for what? Do you have people who, I'll say politics, say, in not clear on who is responsible for what, or people are hiding in the structure, just because, hey, that's not me, that's somebody else, it's not my job. What does accountability look like in your organization to help you get what you need to achieve achieved? So as we begin to get into the EOS model, I want to take a look at the end of the journey. Stephen Covey's concept, just begin with the end in mind and illustrate what it looks like if you go on the journey of implementing EOS. And it starts with a discovery. Gino found out that at any given time in your business, you have some 136 issues facing your business. And when you strengthen those key components of your business, those issues tend to go away. And we're talking a lot about leadership here and management of a company, but it's how do you address those issues? This EOS model, the 6 key components of your business, we're talking about strengthening these components. When you strengthen these components to that, we talk about 90 to 100% strong in these components, and 100% strong tends to be utopia, but working to get everything strong in these components and those to make those issues go away toward being a great company, it starts with having a great vision. To be a great company, using the good to great Jim Collins book concept, being a great company, you've got to have a great vision. And you've got to have everyone aligned on that vision and the plan of how to get you there. You've got to have great people to achieve that vision, the right people in the right seats, aligned, focused, having the right measurables, the right structure to move your company forward to achieve the vision. You need to have data. Great companies run on and make decisions based on data. Entrepreneurial companies on some extremes tend to base decisions based on emotion and subjective information. This is helping you cut through egos and feelings and get to this is really how we're doing, especially family businesses, which I've been a part of, seeing what's really happening. And do we have the data to make the right decisions, not just based on, hey, I want my son, I want my daughter, which I have 2 sons. I'm passionate about getting them in business someday. But what does that look like for the greater good of the business going forward? Great companies address issues. They're open and honest. They hit them head on, and they are good at resolving those issues effectively. And in some cases, I would dare say expediently. You got to be careful of speed on making decisions, solving problems, but getting them out of your head, making an issues list, and going through the process we call identifying the issue, discussing it, and solving the issue, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. Great companies are strong in the concept and the component of process. Not only having processes in place, knowing what they are, but having them documented, having them followed by all from an accountability standpoint. When you have a strong process component, you have more consistency of your output. You're more scalable as you grow. It's clear on who does what and how do they do it and when. And it's easier to manage your business, which can make it more fun and more profitable. And last but not least, having traction. This tends to be the weakest link in a business, the execution piece, bringing the vision to the ground and actually achieving the vision with solid execution, having what we call rocks, the most important things to get done every quarter, and a cadence, the right meeting pulse to keep everyone connected, make decisions, solve problems, and keep on track to achieve your goals every quarter, every year, every 3 year. That's the EOS model. When all 6 of these are strong, everything seems to fall into place. Some tools. One tool in particular, this is really based on that bottom piece, the traction component. I should back up. We're talking here about, here's a quick glance at all of the tools that we can implement to help strengthen all of these components. I forgot about this slide. This is helping you see what are the things we do for vision, for people, data, issues, process, and traction to strengthen those components. But I want to focus in on one example. We call this a level 10 meeting. And this is a weekly meeting. And this is requiring some discipline and some structure, which people hate meetings, but this is the meeting you grow to love. And if you're not using L10 meetings, I highly encourage you to start using them. They need to start on time, end on time, same day, same time, same agenda. And that's subscribing to this concept of early is on time is late. It's because I know with entrepreneurs and business leaders, we get wrapped up in meetings and discussions. This is the meeting you need to be at. It helps you have everybody around the table from a leadership team standpoint, helping you make decisions and solve problems. Starts with a segue, 5 minutes just on a segue of the best. Everyone sharing something either professional and or, depending on your company, personal, good news. It helps everyone coming into the meeting transition from the busy day whirlwind into now let's work on the business. Just 5 minutes. And it really helps build trust and team health. Scorecard, 5 minutes looking at numbers. And there's a scorecard in EOS we help you build. It gives you an absolute pulse on your business. It's activity-based numbers of what you need to be achieving every week. And you're smoking out issues. Where are we not on track, not hitting our numbers? If you're not hitting your numbers, you drop it down to this IDS list we'll talk about. The ROC review, 5 minutes on the most important goals, the most important priorities we must achieve in this quarter. If we're in Q2, by the end of June, what's got to get done? And every week, are we on track to get those done? If we're not, we drop it down to this IDS list to problem solve it and get it back on track. So we do achieve it. Customer employee headlines, just 5 minutes sharing what have we heard from customers that are good news, maybe not so good news. Same with employees, things we need to be aware of, birth, death, marriage, babies, those kind of things. It helps everyone hear it. And this is really that first 20 minutes. It's a lot of review. It's helping us hear, see, smoke out issues. Get them on this issues list, this IDS list. To-do list. Last week we meet every week. Today, all to-dos are to be done, as we joke about in EOS. A healthy leadership team meeting weekly should be getting 9 of every 10 or 90% of all to-dos done every week. So this sets expectations, it sets discipline, and it also helps you see how effective you are as a leadership team. The IDS piece, this is where we're looking at those issues now. And this is the agenda piece. If you have agendas, you put them on this items, you put them on this list. And this process is where we go through a way to prioritize them. We do a 1, 2, 3. We also ask, are there any other issues to add? And we're going through the process of doing the 1, 2, 3 to see what rises to the top. Start with number 1, just focus on number 1. And we go through this process of IDSing it, identifying the issue, discussing it, solving it. Capture to do, go to the next one. Identify the issue, discuss, solve it. Capture to do, move to the next one. And so hopefully every week, and I look at meetings, not always the most fun, but when you're having meetings where you're making decisions and you're solving problems, that is a valuable meeting. We move to conclude, you recap the to-dos, you make sure you're cascading what needs to get to others in the company, and you rate the meeting. You want to have great meetings every week. A 10 is a great meeting. Should be getting 9s and 10s, I would dare say, every week. If you're having a 4s and a 6s, it gives the team a chance to reflect on what do we need to do to improve. That's the level 10 meeting. That's what we call the level 10. It's a fabulous world-class meeting that you should be trying and using routinely. Examples of other companies, what success they've seen. A nonprofit, believe it or not, I've worked with in my area. A nonprofit used EOS to help them form a leadership team. It's a very entrepreneurial nonprofit, by the way. Used EOS to form a leadership team, get the right structure in place to help them grow. It helped them have a cadence for planning and achieving their plans, their rocks. It helped them grow the organization because they're looking at maybe so many new locations every year in other communities. So it gave them a way to plan and execute their plan. CPA firm in 2 states, Iowa, Missouri, starting off with had great staff. They did annual planning, but they did struggle to execute their plans and achieve their plans. They started using EOS and they found that it gave them the structure and the cadence they needed. It helped them transition from a partner-led organization to a leadership team type organization, helped them be more focused as a leadership team, helping them get the right leaders in the right seats running the firm. And it ultimately helped them focus and chip away at completing their annual plans. Another service company I deal with in Eastern Iowa, Quad Cities, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Council Bluffs, 4 locations. They were struggling with how do we manage all of them as one, and EOS helped them do that, helped them get an accountability chart in place, who's accountable for what, who's in the right seats, who's not, what's the leadership team doing to oversee the company, how do we align on a vision, which helped them do, and get a company-wide sales function in place across all 4. And it helped them truly get the right people in the right seats for that sales seat. So they didn't have 4 different locations all selling. The dental practice was growing in my area. They were trying to overcome struggles as they were growing to different locations. They were struggling with just how do we transition from managing our current location to multiple. And that helped them do this. It gave them a leadership team with an accountability chart to focus on how do we do operations across all 3 or 4 locations, not just the one. And it really helped them develop the people that they had into the leadership team they needed going forward, which was a beautiful thing to see. They helped them develop their people. And last but not least, and I'm kind of watching my time here, but a large manufacturing company in my area had never done strategic planning, and they were struggling with accountability. They didn't realize how much they were struggling with it. And they found that with EOS, they formed a leadership team, the right people, right seats, but it helped them get their clarification on where are we going, but it helped them get alignment. But then it helped them also push it down to the mid-management. They had about 400 employees, and it helped them to be clear on structure, roles, accountability, planning at all levels. And what I'm proud to say is after about a year and a half, they hit all of their 2020 revenue, profit, productivity measurables, 100% of their Q4 goals last year, their rocks. They even hit 100% of their annual goals. And they looked at each other like, wow, we did that. And they achieved their 3-year goals, their 3-year picture, we call it, in 1.5 years with increased profitability. So they were rocking it. And it was even during COVID. So summing it up, EOS is a proven process. You implement it in your company, you run your company on it. There is a book I mentioned by Gino Wickman that is about the traction system, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. You can email me at that website, that email address. And I'm hoping this was helpful. So this is a chance now for questions and answers. Kristen.
I am watching for anybody. If you have questions in the chat box, please put them in the chat box. Any questions for Rob? Otherwise, he shared how you can get a hold of him again. The Quad Cities Chamber has used EOS, and I can't tell you enough how this has changed our organization. And again, if you talk to any one of our team members, they're very familiar with EOS. We use it every week, and it really helps everyone have the clarity of what they're being held accountable for, or what they are accountable for, and what is expected of them, and just really takes results to the next level. So yeah. I know we're throwing a lot of information at you today, but again, please reach out to Rob if you have questions. I don't know, Rob, if you had anything to add before we wrap up.
The last thing, Kristen, thank you. I thank you for letting me have this opportunity. Yes, but also here's on this here, my email's at the bottom, but also this link to an EOS organizational checkup assessment. So that's a link you can grab, jump on, and it'll tell you how strong you are in your business and where are some areas you can work on to improve. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rob. And thank you all for participating today, and watch for more information on our next business brief through our e-news. It looks like something just a comment from Teresa saying, having been in HR for a long time, I thought your presentation was great. So good feedback.
Thank you, Teresa.
Again, reach out to Rob if you have any further questions. Otherwise, we hope to see you at our next event or business brief. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.